The usher took their tickets. This is gonna be so fun. Hello again, friends. We're back to do some more story time. And today, we're gonna do stories that are based on one particular topic. And that topic is theater. So I studied theater when I went to college. And theater is kind of like what you see on TV, except in person. So instead of watching it in your living room, you go to a big building and watch people perform right in front of you, and it's super duper cool. And one of the many things that have changed because of this coronavirus that's happening is that most theaters are closed, because when you do a big theater performance, there can be hundreds of people watching. And we can't have that right now because we can't have that many people together. And that makes me pretty sad because I love theater. So today, we're gonna read 2 books about theater. So the first book we're gonna read is called Corduroy Takes a Bow. And the second book we're gonna read is called A is for Audra. So this book is about a character you might know going to a play. And this book is about all of the wonderful leading ladies who are famous because they do theater. First, we have Corduroy Takes a Bow. Corduroy Takes a Bow. Story by Viola Davis with B.J. Hennessy. Pictures by Jody Wheeler. And it's based on the characters created by Don Freeman. It was just starting to snow when Lisa and her mother got off of the bus in front of the theater. Lisa held Corduroy tight as they walked up the steps. She had never been to a big theater like this before. Neither had Corduroy. They had come to see a performance of Mother Goose Rhymes. In the lobby, people were picking up tickets. Ushers handed out programs. A brass chandelier hung from the ceiling that was painted with clouds. Suddenly, the lights flickered on and off. "That means the play will start in a few minutes. We should find our seats," said Lisa's mother. Lisa held her mother's hand a little tighter and held Corduroy a little closer. If you've ever been to a big theater before, they're so big and beautiful with lots of pretty images on the walls, but it can kind of be overwhelming sometimes. I don't blame her for hugging Corduroy closer. The usher took their tickets and showed them where to sit. "The seats are so soft," said Lisa. She put Corduroy on her lap and looked through the program. Right before the play started, a very tall man sat down in front of Lisa. "Mommy," whispered Lisa, "I can't see." "Here, dear," said her mother. "We can fold our coats together and you can sit on top of them." When Lisa stood up to sit on the coats, the orchestra started to play. She forgot all about Corduroy. He slipped off her lap and fell underneath the seats in front of them. Oh no, poor Corduroy. Did you know that at some theaters that you go to, you can ask for a booster seat and they'll have a seat so you don't have to sit on coats? They make seats especially for children in certain theaters. It's pretty cool. "Now I can't see anything," Corduroy said. "Maybe if I get closer to the music, I could see the stage." He peeked down the aisle and saw some stairs. When Corduroy got to the top step, the big red curtain went up. And up, and up. Corduroy was so startled that he lost his balance and tumbled into the orchestra pit. He looked around at all the musicians and thought, "This is a good spot to hear the music, but now I can't see the stage at all." So the orchestra pit is the part in front of the stage where all the musicians play their instruments, and a lot of times it's underneath the stage but in front of it, which is pretty cool. Look at poor Corduroy. He's all the way over there. Ooh. At the back of the orchestra, there was a tall set of drums. Maybe if I sat up there, I would have a better view, he thought. Quietly, he crawled through the orchestra, past feet, between instrument cases, and around music stands toward the drums. "How did you get here, little fellow?" the drummer whispered to Corduroy. "You must be a prop from the play. Someone will be looking for you." He put Corduroy up on the ledge behind the drums. Do you know where he just put Corduroy? He put Corduroy right up on the stage. There was a chair off to the side behind the curtain. I could see better from there, thought Corduroy. But before he got to the chair, a stagehand tripped on him. Sorry, Bear, said the stagehand. He put Corduroy on the table with the other props. The table was hard, not like Lisa's soft seat in the theater. Backstage was very busy. Actors were coming and going, changing costumes and getting their props. One actor almost grabbed Corduroy. I should find a safer spot, he decided, and he hid between the costumes. This is safe, he thought. But I'll never see anything from here. There was a tree with a basket in its branches in the wing off to one side of the stage. The wings are the sides of the stage that you don't usually see when you're watching a show. I'd be able to see from there, Corduroy thought, and he climbed up the tree and into the basket. Well, thought Corduroy, this is more like it. Not too high. Well, thought Corduroy, this is more like it. Not too high, not too low. This is just right. He settled in and watched the Mother Goose performance. I love the theater, said Corduroy. Me too, Corduroy. After a number of different scenes, the stage manager called out, Final scene, everyone! Take your places! Stagehands quickly moved new scenery onto the stage, while the actors went to stand in position. Suddenly, Corduroy's tree began moving right onto the stage. Then it started to grow. Up, up, up went the tree, the basket, and Corduroy. This is a very tall tree, said Corduroy as he looked down at the stage far below. The tall tree made him think of the tall man who sat in front of Lisa. Corduroy wondered, how will I get back to Lisa if I'm up in this tree? On the stage below, Mother Goose started to sing, Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Off stage, a fan blew air into the branches of the tree. The cradle began to rock back and forth and up and down, back and forth and up and down. Corduroy was getting dizzy. He held on to the sides of the cradle as it rocked faster and faster. Mother Goose kept singing, When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And crack! The bough did break. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Down, down, down came Corduroy, cradle and all. Before Corduroy knew what was happening, Mother Goose scooped him up for curtain call. The audience clapped as the actors bowed. Corduroy bowed too. After the curtain call, the cast took Corduroy backstage to the dressing room. Who does this bear belong to, they wondered. The usher brought Lisa backstage. Corduroy, there you are, said Lisa. How did you get on stage? I couldn't see, and I wanted to get a little closer, said Corduroy. Oh, Corduroy, said Lisa, you certainly got closer. The very next day, Lisa made a theater just for Corduroy. He could see everything from a nice, safe spot. There's her theater, and he's got a nice, cozy seat, huh? And the end. And there they are reading the playbill from their play. That's the program that tells them all about the show they saw. Corduroy Takes a Bow. I love this book. Okay, are you ready for book number 2? This is a good one. This book is called A is for Audra, Broadway's Leading Ladies from A to Z. So one of the best places to see theater is on Broadway, which is right here in New York where I live. And there's so many shows and so many great performances. But right now, all of those theaters are closed. So this book is going to let us learn about a lot of the wonderful women who have become famous from performing on Broadway. A is for Audra, Broadway's Leading Ladies from A to Z. This is written by John Robert Allman and illustrated by Peter Emmerich. A is for Audra, who awes and amazes with each line and note. All critics sing praises. B is for Barbara, and Barbara too, both versatile vocalist, equaled by few. C is for Christine's clear intonations, for which she's won Tonys and standing ovations. D is for Dolly, that devious dame, played by Carol, Pearl, and Bet, and too many to name. E is for Elaine, whose delivery delights, and who often performed wearing little but tights. F is for Fosse, whose dazzling dancing made these triple threats feisty, fierce, and entrancing. G is for Gertrude, whose greatest success was a king-teaching tutor who dressed to impress. H is for the heavenly Miss Heather Headley, whose turn as Aida was daring and deadly. A lot of you probably know this voice. I is for Adina, whose vocals you'll know from Wicked or Rent or from Letting It Go. So this is Adina Menzel, and she is the voice of Elsa from Frozen. So that's how you know her voice already. But she's also very famous on Broadway. And in one show, she played the Wicked Witch of the West in a show called Wicked. J is for Julie, sweet silvery soprano, as bright as a bell and as pure as a piano. And that's, of course, Julie Andrews, who you probably know from Mary Poppins. K is for Kristen, whose range stupefies in spite of her small, less than 5 foot tall size. L is for Leia, the voice of Mulan, who broke Broadway hearts as the first Miss Saigon. M's Mary Martin, whose vibrance and verve gave Peter his pluck and Maria her nerve. N's for Nell Carter, who had Broadway Raven when she crooned Fats Waller in Ain't Misbehavin'. O's the outstanding Miss Kelly O'Hara as Nellie, Francesca, Mrs. Anna, or Clara. P is for Patty, whose belt big and brassy made Ava so mighty and Reno so sassy. Q is for Broadway's unquestionable queen, a glamorous goddess on stage and on screen. She's brilliant and bold and has talent in meters. Ladies and gentlemen, Bernadette Peters. R is for Rose, Broadway's maddest of mothers, in show-stopping turns by Miss Merman and others. S is for Sutton, whose singing and tapping keeps spectators chanting and cheering and clapping. It's also for Sondheim, who wrote these plum parts for women with substance, with strength, and with smarts. T is for Tanya, whose Titanic range includes Jelly's Last Jam and Caroline or Change. U's for Miss Uggams, whose charm is contagious each time she busts out on the Great White Way's stages. V is for Victoria, whose voice operatic makes any score soar, whether light or dramatic. W's the wondrous Miss Lillis White, whose riffs, runs, and scats sound so wonderfully right. These divas are dynamos, and you should know 'em, but didn't fit anywhere else in this poem. So here are some extra exceptional names of exalted, exciting, and excellent dames. So this page has lots and lots of other famous Broadway ladies. I'm not going to read them all to you. I highly recommend you get this book. You know who's last. If you don't, take a guess. Z is for Liza, with a Z, not an S, and that's Liza Minnelli. I like this book a lot. I think that if you liked it, you should get it, because in the back there's lots of information about all of the ladies that were listed in the book. And what's really cool about this book is that they have pages for autographs. So if you wanted to find these ladies when they were in shows and you went to see them, you could ask them to sign it for you. Thank you for watching my very special theater edition of Storytime. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope when things get back to normal, you can go see some great live theater. There's lots of theater in lots of places, not just New York City. There's theater everywhere. So when things start getting back to normal, you should definitely try to go see some theater shows wherever you live, okay? All right, I'll see you soon. Bye!